The Formula One circus has rolled into Italy for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, and there's a lot more brewing than just engines and tire smoke. As the championship officially returns to European soil, anticipation is mounting, not just because of the usual mid-season upgrades, but due to a looming sense of uncertainty surrounding the very future of this iconic race at Imola. Recent remarks from Stefano Domenicali have cast a shadow over the event's longevity on the calendar, sparking speculation that this could be the final time we witness racing at this legendary Italian track. So, what should we expect from this weekend's Grand Prix? Will the weather play the role of spoiler or surprise wild card? Imola, a track etched deep into F1 folklore, stands as one of the crown jewels of European racing. And this year, it could become the turning point in a season that has, so far, seen McLaren pulling away from the rest. Determined to shrink the gap, several teams are unleashing a barrage of aerodynamic and mechanical updates this weekend. But making those upgrades count will require more than just innovation. It'll take the cooperation of the skies. Forecasts suggest that the opening days of action, Friday and Saturday, should remain relatively dry, providing a clear window for teams to dial in their new setups. However, Sunday looks far more unpredictable. Scattered showers are expected to make an appearance during race day, which means teams must brace themselves for the chaos that rain can unleash. And at a circuit like Imola, where overtaking is already a high-risk venture, wet conditions could flip the entire script. Adding another layer of complexity, this Grand Prix marks the debut of Pirelli's newest and softest tire compound, the C6. Initially designed for tight, low-speed street circuits, this ultra-soft rubber now finds itself in unfamiliar territory. Pirelli's gamble here is to nudge teams toward two-stop strategies, increasing unpredictability and forcing bolder tactical decisions. Imola's abrasive surface might just be the perfect match for these tires, unless, of course, we witness a repeat of the 2018 Monaco debacle with the ill-fated Hypersofts, which offered drama but little durability. Now, let's shift gears and talk about upgrades. All eyes are on Red Bull. After suffering a bruising pair of weekends where McLaren has steamrolled the field and Max Verstappen failed to even reach the podium in Miami, the Austrian team is rolling out what insiders are calling a critical overhaul. The RB21 is getting a significant facelift, especially in the side pod region, as part of a broader technical revamp designed to reclaim lost performance and re-establish dominance. Sources within the team suggest that this weekend at Imola is nothing short of a litmus test for their 2025 ambitions. If Verstappen cannot mount a credible challenge here, the championship fight could start slipping further from his grasp. For Max, the stakes are high. He's already shown visible frustration in recent weeks, and the whispers around the paddock suggest that if the team doesn't deliver soon, we might see a very different version of Verstappen once the summer break arrives. A more aggressive, politically vocal driver with championship rage bubbling beneath the surface. And that's just scratching the surface. Behind Red Bull, a flurry of activity is expected across the grid. Ferrari, hoping to shine on home soil, are bringing targeted updates to improve low-speed traction, one of their Achilles' heels this season. Mercedes, still searching for consistency, are experimenting with a new floor and rear suspension setup designed to improve balance in high-speed corners. Even Aston Martin, somewhat quiet in recent races, is expected to introduce minor tweaks aimed at helping Fernando Alonso feel more confident with rear-end stability. But no matter how many upgrades are introduced or how many setup hours are invested, if the rain decides to crash the party on Sunday, everything could unravel in minutes. Imola doesn't forgive mistakes. It punishes the brave and humbles the overconfident. In the background, Domenicali's comments linger. Could this really be the final curtain call for Imola? The circuit that gave us heartbreak, glory, and historic moments may be staring down its final F1 chapter, not because of performance issues, but due to political and economic reshuffling within the sports calendar priorities. For now, the only certainty is unpredictability. A revered circuit under threat, a championship in flux, and the growing pressure on teams to deliver, rain or shine. This weekend may not just shape the standings, it could define the rest of the season, or even mark the end of an era. At this stage of the season, the spotlight falls squarely on Red Bull's ongoing aerodynamic instability, an issue that has plagued the RB21 across the opening rounds of the 2025 campaign. The car, once renowned for its planted feel and surgical precision, has shown signs of nervousness, particularly in high downforce configurations. As a result, the team is now betting on a major philosophical shift in car design, one they hope will allow Max Verstappen to regain full control and unlock the car's hidden potential. One of the most critical areas Red Bull engineers are targeting involves the vertical airflow strakes located underneath the chassis. These components are essential in managing how air flows beneath the floor, directly impacting the ground effect efficiency and overall aerodynamic load. By refining this underfloor airflow, the team expects not only better balance but a dramatic uptick in overall performance. For a car that has struggled on tracks demanding high levels of downforce, this weekend at Imola could be a pivotal opportunity to test whether these conceptual changes are heading in the right direction. Imola is no easy customer. It's a circuit that exposes the weaknesses of any car that lacks aerodynamic coherence. If Red Bull can't find stability here, the rest of the season could become an uphill battle. But Red Bull isn't the only team coming armed with updates. Ferrari, who entered the year with high expectations of fighting toe-to-toe with McLaren, has found itself in a bewildering performance deficit. The Scarlet team had originally mapped out a significant upgrade package for Imola, with rumors suggesting a revamped rear suspension aimed at solving their persistent instability issues at the rear. But those ambitions have been scaled back. Team principal Fred Vasseur has openly cast doubt on the plan's effectiveness, voicing concerns that the team doesn't fully grasp the behavior of the current car, and therefore might be pouring resources into a solution that won't work. In a press interaction ahead of the race, Vasseur remarked, "Yes, we will bring some updates to Imola, but I don't believe our performance woes stem from a lack of upgrades. The real challenge is understanding the car and finding the right balance. We have a small development package coming for this weekend, and another more substantial one planned for Barcelona. But what really matters is synchronizing everything. Imola should suit us better than Miami. We've struggled in slow corners, but here we'll be able to attack the curbs more aggressively. That said, I think our biggest limiting factor in Miami wasn't the layout, it was tire degradation." Vasseur's tone was cautious, bordering on pessimistic, as he emphasized that the expectations for Imola shouldn't be overly optimistic. And with Mercedes entering the weekend with their own suite of upgrades, the competitive landscape is set to become even more crowded, potentially pushing Ferrari further down the pecking order. The Scuderia from Maranello began the season with ambitions of reclaiming glory, believing they had what it took to challenge McLaren for top honors. But reality has been sobering. Not only have they fallen short of McLaren's pace, they're now struggling to even hold the title of second fastest team. Their rivals have closed in, and Mercedes, in particular, appear poised to leapfrog them in the standings. The Silver Arrows are on a more promising trajectory. The rise of rookie sensation Andrea Kimi Antonelli has breathed new life into the team, while George Russell has been a model of consistency, finishing in the top 5 across every competitive session so far. Their belief is growing. Internally, there's a real sense that once the full upgrade suite arrives in Barcelona, they could be right in the thick of the title fight. But the first big step comes this weekend at Imola. Speaking ahead of the race, team principal Toto Wolff framed the moment clearly. "We arrive in Imola having completed the first quarter of the season. It's a moment of truth. The work we've done in the simulator and in the wind tunnel must now translate to performance on track. What happens over the next 72 hours will likely determine the direction of the championship fight. Whether Red Bull's aerodynamic tweaks can stabilize Verstappen's RB21, whether Ferrari can stop the rot, and whether Mercedes can genuinely mount a comeback, all of it hinges on how the upgrades perform in real-world conditions. Imola is more than just another race. It's a battleground where the intentions, ambitions, and technical mastery of each team will be put to the test. From the opening 6 rounds of the 2025 Formula One season, several key takeaways have emerged. The progress compared to last year's machine is undeniable. the W16 represents a noticeable step forward, delivering a much more balanced and responsive car than its predecessor. As the championship shifts into its European leg, the ambition within the team is crystal clear. Continue climbing, keep refining, and begin contending for wins. The crew at Lauder Drive has been relentlessly pushing behind the scenes, and over the coming races, a wave of technical updates is set to be unleashed. One factor that can't be overlooked is the added motivation for Kimi Antonelli, who is set to perform in front of his home crowd this weekend. His pole position during the sprint qualifying in Miami sent a clear message. This young talent isn't here to play supporting roles, he's here to challenge for the top. And with updates arriving in time for Imola, the spotlight will be on how well they elevate his performance. But while we're bracing for on-track action, there's a cloud of uncertainty looming over the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix itself. F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali recently made headlines by admitting that this could very well be the last time we witness a Grand Prix at Imola. The ongoing calendar expansion, driven by surging interest from emerging markets and street circuit investors, is forcing the sport into a painful balancing act. Talks are actively underway regarding new races in countries like Rwanda and Thailand, and with Madrid already confirmed for 2026, the math simply doesn't add up. Some venues will have to make way. Domenicali himself conceded that maintaining 2 races in Italy is becoming increasingly difficult to justify. Italy has always been, and will always be, a cornerstone of Formula One, he stated. But with the surge in global interest, it's going to be challenging to keep both Monza and Imola on the calendar long-term. With Monza having already secured a contract extension through 2031, the writing may be on the wall for Imola. It's a bitter pill to swallow, especially considering the heroic efforts the organizers made back in 2020 to host 2 races during the darkest days of the pandemic. There's a genuine sense of nostalgia and sadness that legendary tracks are slowly being pushed out in favor of glittering city layouts. Still, there's no time to dwell. There's plenty to look forward to this weekend. One headline worth following closely is the return of Franco Colapinto. Now driving under the Alpine banner, the Argentine finds himself with a limited 5-race contract and a mountain to climb. This is his shot to prove he belongs on the grid long-term, and his goal is simple. Score points fast, keep the car clean, and show consistency. We've seen flashes of brilliance from him before, but also some costly mistakes. If he manages to stay focused and bring the car home in one piece, he could cement his place for the remainder of the season. But if the errors pile up like they did during the final stages of 2024 with Williams, then a difficult sit-down with Alpine figurehead Flavio Briatore is all but guaranteed. Meanwhile, another hot topic swirling around the paddock concerns McLaren's tire strategy, and more specifically, their rumored use of PCM technology, phase change materials. This cutting-edge approach could be the secret behind their impressive tire durability in recent races. While the theory hasn't been officially confirmed, it's gaining traction among rival engineers. If it turns out to be true, and if McLaren are indeed gaining a cooling advantage through advanced material science, the FIA will likely step in fast. The governing body has never hesitated to crack down when teams cross technical gray areas, and any hint of irregularity could lead to a serious review. On top of all this, the intra-team battle at McLaren is heating up. Oscar Piastri has now pulled ahead of Lando Norris in terms of total wins for the team, 6 versus 5, and the unofficial title of number 1 driver is still very much up for grabs. Every race from here on out will serve as a chapter in that story, as the 2 young talents push each other to the limit in the MCL 39. So with all of that in motion, Red Bull's new updates, Ferrari's uncertainty, Mercedes' surge, Colapinto's proving ground, McLaren's tire intrigue, and the fate of Imola hanging in the balance, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix promises to be anything but ordinary. Which storyline are you most excited to follow heading into the weekend? And more importantly, do you think this will be the final time Formula One races at Imola? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And once you've done that, make sure to click the video currently on your screen to dive deeper into all the drama, upgrades, and rumors swirling around the 2025 F1 season.